She said it so casually, like it wasn't the emotional equivalent of a punch to the gut. I mean, my ex was just better at everything, Claire murmured, adjusting the sheets like she hadn't just dropped a grenade. You're sweet, Daniel, but you don't really know what you're doing. I stared at the ceiling for a second, letting the words settle. The room still smelled like her vanilla shampoo, and our sweat hadn't even dried yet. And yet, somehow, she thought this was the moment to make a comparison to the guy who used to cheat on her and crash on his mom's couch every other month. I didn't say anything at first, didn't ask for clarification, didn't explode. I just nodded slowly and sat up, rubbing a hand across my jaw. Good to know, I said. That was it. That's all I gave her. I stood, pulled on my jeans, and walked to the closet. She stayed in bed, propped on one elbow, her mouth slightly open like she was waiting for me to laugh or argue or beg. I didn't. I started packing. One duffel bag for my work clothes and tools, another for my sneakers, shaving kit, and the Chargers hoodie I'd left on the back of her chair 3 weeks ago. Wait, Daniel, Claire said finally, her voice shifting. Are you serious right now? I didn't answer. She sat up quickly, wrapping the blanket around herself. Oh my God, it was a joke. You seriously think I meant that? Still silent. I zipped the main bag and slung it over my shoulder. Come on, don't be so sensitive, she said, her voice rising. I was just teasing. You know how I talk. Why are you acting like this? I tossed my phone charger into the side pouch and walked over to the entryway table. My key to her apartment, well, our apartment for the last 6 months, was on my keychain. I slipped it off and set it down with a quiet click. That's when she started to panic. Daniel, babe, don't do this. I pulled out my phone, thumbed out a quick text, and hit send without looking at her. Call him, then. He's your problem now. I walked out before she could say anything else. No yelling. No dramatic slam. Just the quiet echo of my boots down the hall and the cold air outside wrapping around me like clarity. She thought she could say whatever she wanted and I'd still stay. But I'm not a doormat. I know when I've had enough. Marcus didn't ask questions when I showed up at his door with 2 bags slung over my shoulder and that look on my face. He just stepped aside and handed me a cold beer before I even sat down. Couch is yours, he said. Spare blankets clean. What happened? We were sitting on his small patio, the kind that overlooked a crumbling alley and a row of dumpsters. Didn't matter. I'd have taken a sleeping bag in a parking lot that night if it meant not hearing Claire's voice anymore. I took a long drink before answering. She compared me to her ex. Marcus raised an eyebrow. Like, emotionally? Or? In bed, I said flatly. He winced. Shit. Said I didn't know what I was doing. Then tried to act like it was a joke when I started packing. There was a pause as he processed that. Then he shook his head and muttered, God damn. That's all I needed to hear. No lectures. No playing devil's advocate. Just confirmation that I wasn't crazy for walking out. My phone buzzed on the patio table. Claire. Don't. Marcus said, before I could even glance at the screen. I wasn't going to. The messages started slow, an apology, a can we talk? Followed by a you always do this. I silenced the phone, tossed its screen down. 10 minutes later, it buzzed again. Marcus leaned over and peeked at the flood of texts lighting up the screen. She's unraveling, he said. I didn't look. I didn't need to. I already knew the pattern. Claire's favorite hobby was emotional whiplash, shame, guilt, sugar, fire, whatever she thought might pull me back in. She said it to hurt me. I said finally. She wanted me to feel small. That wasn't honesty. That was power. Marcus nodded. You think she actually believes it? Doesn't matter. What matters is she wanted me to believe it. He took a swig of his beer. You did the right thing, man. Seriously. Most guys would have stayed. Tried to prove themselves. You just walked. Didn't see the point in arguing. She wanted to hurt me. Mission accomplished. You're better off, he said. And for what it's worth, her ex? That guy's still trying to sell stolen vape pens out of the back of his cousin's car. We both laughed. It wasn't much. But in that moment, it was enough. I stayed on that couch for 2 nights. Slept like a baby. By the 3rd day, Claire had moved on, from texting to posting. Marcus' girlfriend, Jenna, was the first to say something. She came in from the bedroom that morning with her phone in her hand and a weird look on her face. Daniel, she said, handing it to me. Have you seen her Instagram? I hadn't. I hadn't even opened the app since I left. But there it was. A photo of Claire with a wine glass in hand, hair curled perfectly, wearing the same dress she once called her revenge outfit. The caption read, Unbothered. Healing. Thriving. Hashtag moving in hashtag new energy. Marcus leaned over my shoulder. Is she serious right now? It got worse. A few swipes later, another post showed up. Claire at some rooftop bar, clearly staged, with her ex, Owen, leaving a comment. Owen, looking good as always. Claire, some things don't change. Jenna made a face. She's trying way too hard. I I set the phone down and leaned back on the couch. Honestly, I expected it. Claire never lost quietly. If she couldn't get me back through guilt, she'd try jealousy. But it didn't sting like she probably hoped it would. It just felt tired. Dude, Marcus said, shaking his head. She thinks you're watching. That's the funny part. She always played to an audience, I said. Doesn't matter if you're in the room or not. Around noon, she emailed me. Not a text, not a call. An actual email, like she was writing a damn HR complaint. Subject, closure and accountability. The body was a mess of passive-aggressive lines about how I walked away instead of fixing things, and how I'd abandoned her during a vulnerable moment. Toward the end, it shifted tone and turned nasty. I won't be made to feel like a villain just because you're emotionally fragile. If you don't want to fix this, don't be surprised when I ruin what's left of your life. I forwarded it to myself for records, then wrote one line in reply. I'll continue paying my half of the lease, but I'm done funding your lifestyle. Good luck. No, dear. No sign-off. Just the boundary, clear as day. Marcus read over my shoulder. Damn, that's gonna piss her off. I hope it does, I said, because the more pissed she gets, the more obvious it becomes who she really is. And with that, I blocked her on everything but email, just in case she slipped up again and gave me something useful. Saturday came quicker than I expected. I'd arranged to pick up the rest of my stuff, tools, clothes, my VR setup, with Marcus and his brother, Troy, tagging along just in case Claire decided to turn it into a performance. Spoiler, she did. She opened the door wearing full makeup and a sundress I'd never seen before. Her hair was curled, like she'd come straight from a photo shoot. I barely stepped inside before she launched into her monologue. Daniel. Hey, she said, trying to smile. You look tired. Have you been sleeping? I walked past her without answering. The apartment smelled like that sickly sweet perfume she wore when she was trying to get her way. I went straight for the bedroom and started packing. Marcus grabbed a few boxes from the closet while Troy disconnected the VR gear from the living room. Claire followed me down the hall like a shadow. I've been thinking, she started, about how we left things. And I think I made a mistake. I folded a hoodie and tossed it into the bag. Yep. I was upset. You know I say dumb things when I'm mad. Yep. She paused. I didn't mean to hurt you. I zipped the bag closed. But you did. That shut her up for a second. Then she shifted tactics. You're really going to walk away over one stupid comment? I looked up at her, calm. It wasn't one comment. It was the last one. Her smile cracked. So that's it. You just shut down and leave? You don't even care? I stood and slung the duffel over my shoulder. If I didn't care, I wouldn't be here getting my stuff. I'd left the key and let you throw it all out. Claire crossed her arms. Wow. So Owen was right. That made Marcus look up from the hallway. I didn't blink. You're still talking to him? I asked. She shrugged, trying to look casual. He checks in. Then enjoy him. She flinched. That one hit. I walked into the living room and started unplugging the VR headset. Troy handed me the charging cables while Claire hovered behind us like a mosquito you couldn't swat. I bet he never would have walked out like this, she said quietly. I didn't turn around. You're probably right. But he also never paid the rent, fixed your car, or stayed sober for more than 2 weeks. Her eyes welled up. You're being cruel. No, I said, standing straight. I'm being done. I handed the spare key to Marcus. Leave it on the counter. And just like that, we walked out. No yelling. No drama. Just 3 guys and a trunk full of proof that she didn't own a single piece of me anymore. I didn't follow Claire online, but Jenna still did. She kept tabs without meaning to, just a scroll here, a click there. So when she knocked on the bathroom door while I was brushing my teeth and said, you might want to see this, I already knew it wasn't going to be good. Claire had done it. She actually got back with Owen. The first post was a boomerang of them clinking glasses at some rooftop lounge. Upgrade unlocked, the caption said. The second was worse. A picture of them cuddled up on her couch, my old couch, Claire in his lap, his arm around her like he belonged there. The comment section was full of those try-hard compliments from her circle of friends. Jenna scrolled and showed me one more. Claire's story. Sometimes you have to lose something average to make space for something real. I laughed. It wasn't bitter. It was relief. She's trying too hard, I said, spitting toothpaste into the sink. If she was really happy, she wouldn't need a PR campaign. Marcus called from the living room. Dude, check your email. It was Maya, Owen's current girlfriend. Well, ex-girlfriend now, apparently. Her message was direct and short. Hey, I thought you should know Claire told Owen you two were just on a break. I found your breakup text in some old posts and realized she was lying. Thanks for confirming I'm not crazy. He's gone now. You're not the only one she screwed over. Maya. I forwarded her my final text to Claire and a copy of the lease notice showing I'd already filed to remove myself. I figured she could use it if things got messy. Maya replied within minutes. Appreciate it. He blocked her. She's spiraling already. Good luck, man. And just like that, Claire lost her upgrade. 3 hours later, I got an email from her. No subject line, just all caps in the preview. You had no right to involve her. You ruined what little I had left. I didn't reply. I just archived it and went back to eating leftover pizza in Marcus' kitchen. She wanted to play games, and she lost badly. She really thought you'd just sit there and watch her climb into bed with that guy? Marcus asked, shaking his head. She thought Owen was a weapon, I said. But he was just a boomerang. Marcus grinned. That's poetic as hell. I took another bite and raised my beer. Here's to her self-destruction. We toasted, not out of pettiness, but because I was finally watching the storm from a distance, bone dry and completely done. It started with a notification from the resale app, Let Go. Someone was selling a VR headset that looked exactly like mine. Limited edition, silver trim, custom head strap. I added myself. I clicked the listing. The seller's name? Claire. At first, I thought maybe it was a coincidence. But then I looked closer at the photos. Same scuff near the charging port. Same little faded sticker on the side that said Player 1. She was selling my stuff. I texted her one last time. You've got 24 hours to take it down and return it, or I'm filing a theft report. She didn't respond right away, but the listing disappeared 20 minutes later. An hour after that, I got a text from her that read, Relax. I already gave it back to that guy. Had to refund him out of my own pocket. Thanks a lot. And then she added, You seriously gonna nickel and dime me over a stupid toy? I'm broke, Daniel. I'm doing what I can to survive. That part actually made me pause. Because no matter what else she'd done, I didn't want her starving or homeless. But then I remembered, Claire never did broke quietly. She did it loud, dramatic, and manipulative. Sure enough, she followed it up with another message. You really don't care if I end up on the street, huh? I gave you 2 years and this is what I get. I didn't reply. I blocked her number again. I was done playing the emotional lifeline. But Claire wasn't. 2 days later, I got called into the service office at work. My manager, Terry, looked awkward. Hey man, this might sound weird, but your ex called. I blinked. Claire, yeah. Said she was worried about you. Said you've been acting strange and might be depressed or unstable. Said she was just trying to help. I felt the heat rising in my neck. Did she say what exactly I did? Terry shrugged. It was vague. Honestly sounded more like a guilt trip than a concern. Still, HR had to follow procedure. They made me sit through a wellness check with a corporate counselor. Thankfully, she saw through it quickly. She's trying to provoke a response, the counselor said. Don't give it to her. I nodded, jaw tight. I won't. But it kept escalating. She started calling from blocked numbers. I'd get voicemails with her fake crying, saying she missed me, needed me, that she was in a really dark place. Then other voicemails came, not so soft. You ruined me. You abandoned me. You made me like this. That one nearly made me laugh. Claire had been like this long before I came around. I'd just been the latest guy to prop up the act. I spoke to Marcus, got a lawyer contact through a friend, and had a cease and desist drafted. I didn't send it yet. Just kept it ready. Like a loaded safety switch. It wasn't about revenge. It was about distance. And if she pushed 1 inch further, I'd slam every legal door in her face without blinking. Because this time, I wasn't going back. I was going forward, with or without cleanup. Claire finally hit the wall. 2 months after I walked out, she got the notice. Rent unpaid. Eviction incoming. She couldn't cover it. Not without me. And her Instagram turned from curated glam to cryptic quotes overnight. No more rooftop cocktails or healing goddess energy captions. Now it was stuff like, sometimes the people you trust the most are the first to disappear. Rebuilding from rock bottom, alone. And the comments? Crickets. The sympathy well had run dry. Jenna nudged me one morning with her phone. Is she crowdfunding? Sure enough, Claire had launched a GoFundMe titled, Starting Over After Heartbreak. She claimed she'd been abandoned without warning, that her partner cut her off financially out of nowhere, and she was facing homelessness because of it. She even added a picture of her old apartment and a sad face selfie with no makeup. Comments from strangers poured in. Stay strong, girl. Men are trash. Donated what I could. Hope things turn around. But then came the receipts. It started with a new account, anonymous name, no profile pic, posting screenshots in the comment thread. Screenshots of Claire bragging about the breakup, mocking me, telling her friends I was just a mechanic who got lucky and that she could do better. There was even one where she said, if he doesn't come crawling back, I'll make him wish he had. The GoFundMe quietly vanished an hour later. The damage was done. People saw the mask slip. Then, the final blow, Claire's mom called me. I didn't recognize the number, but I picked up. Her voice was low, tired, way older than I remembered. Daniel, she said, I don't normally get involved. But I had to call. She's moving back in. To our basement. She's a mess. I said nothing. She told me everything. Her mom continued. Well, her version, at least. But I've been watching. I know she messed up. I want to ask something. I waited. Would you consider giving her another chance? Just to talk. Maybe to work things out? I actually laughed. Not out of cruelty, but disbelief. Ma'am, I said calmly. Your daughter compared me to her ex after we had sex, sold my stuff, harassed my job, and tried to ruin me online. There's nothing to talk about. She sighed. I figured. Just thought I'd try. I hope she gets help, I added. But not from me. After that, it got quiet. The calls stopped. No more emails. No more Claire. I moved into a small studio a few miles from Marcus. Clean. Quiet. Just mine. I hung my tools on the wall, set up my VR headset, and sat on the floor with a pizza box, watching a movie in total silence. No background noise. No tension. No drama. For the first time in years, I wasn't someone's fixer, or crutch, or punching bag. I was just Daniel. And I was finally free. It came on a Tuesday afternoon, buried between spam and a bill notification. An email from Claire. No subject. Just her name in the sender line. Stark, sudden, and unwanted. I hovered over the delete button for a few seconds, but curiosity won out. It wasn't a rant. Not this time. It was long. Longer than anything she'd sent before. And different. No insults, no blame. Just the truth, or something close to it. Daniel, I've been in therapy. Not for show, real therapy. I didn't expect it to work, but it's forcing me to look at myself for the first time in years. And it's not pretty. I lied. I said what I said to hurt you. About Owen, about everything. You were good to me. Better than I deserved, probably. You didn't just leave because of one comment. You left because I pushed you there, piece by piece. And I hate that it took losing you to realize I was the problem. I know there's no going back. I know I scorched the ground. But I needed to say this. I'm sorry. You didn't fail me. I failed myself. I hope you're doing okay. Really, Claire. I sat there for a moment, letting the words settle. And then I did the only thing I needed to do. I forwarded it to my therapist, with a single line at the top. Figured you'd want to see this. I didn't respond to her. I didn't need to. There was nothing left to say. Her apology wasn't a key to open any door. I'd already walked through it, closed it, and thrown away the knob. That night, I made dinner in my studio apartment. Nothing fancy, just pasta and frozen garlic bread. I set up my VR headset, logged into a sci-fi flight sim, and flew around fake planets in total silence. It felt good. I'd spent too long letting people chip away at my self-worth in the name of love. Too long waiting to be seen. Too long thinking being needed meant being valued. Now, I didn't need her validation. I had my own. And for once, I wasn't trying to fix anyone. I was finally home.